This is an official emergency broadcast from the National Communications Authority. We are issuing an urgent public safety advisory regarding anomalous telephone activity occurring nightly at precisely 3:33 a.m. Western Standard Time. Over the past 72 hours, we have received reports of unsolicited phone calls reaching residential and at this exact time. These calls display no caller identification and emit a low-frequency tone that our technicians initially dismissed as standard line interference. However, we must now advise all citizens to refrain from answering any telephone that rings at 3:33 a.m. The caller does not speak immediately. Instead, there is approximately 14 seconds of silence during which sensitive recording equipment has detected the sound of breathing that does not match normal human respiratory patterns. The exhalation phase lasts too long. The inhalation is too shallow. When the voice finally emerges, it uses your exact vocal patterns, your precise inflection, your childhood nickname that only your grandmother used. But it is not you speaking. The voice will ask why you are still awake. It will comment on the specific room you are standing in, describing the exact placement of furniture you moved just hours earlier. It recites the prayer you whispered under your breath during your morning commute, the one you never said aloud to anyone. Citizens who have remained on the line report that the conversation becomes increasingly familiar. The voice begins to reference memories you have never shared with anyone. It describes the taste of your childhood birthday cake, the texture of your first pet's fur, and the sound your mother made when she cried alone in the kitchen when she thought no one was listening. These details are accurate, impossibly accurate. We have confirmed that 17 individuals who engaged in extended conversations with this entity have been found in their homes the following morning. They are alive, but they are not responding to external stimuli. Their eyes track movement, but they do not blink. Their mouths remain slightly open, as if they are still listening to something the rest of us cannot hear. Medical examination reveals that their vocal cords show signs of recent and extensive use, though none of these individuals were heard speaking during the night. The most disturbing development occurred this morning when we attempted to interview one of the affected individuals. When our field reporter asked her to state her name for the record, she spoke in a voice that was not her own. It was the voice of her husband, who was standing beside her, whose mouth was not moving, whose expression showed only confusion and terror as his wife spoke with his voice, using words he was thinking but had not yet said aloud. The calls are spreading. What began in the time zone has now been reported across all major metropolitan areas. The phenomenon is accelerating. Phone networks are experiencing unprecedented activity at 3:33 a.m. in every time zone as the calls propagate westward. Do not answer your phone at 3:33 a.m. Do not speak if you accidentally answer. Do not listen to the voice that sounds like yours but knows things you never told it. If you hear your own voice calling your name from the receiver, disconnect immediately and remove the batteries from all devices in your home. We are losing contact with our field teams. The last transmission from our Chicago office came at exactly 3:33 a.m. Central Time. The reporter was broadcasting live when her phone began to ring. She answered it reflexively, forgetting protocol. For the next 47 minutes, our national audience listened as she conducted an interview with herself, asking questions she had never prepared, receiving answers about her personal life that grew increasingly intimate and impossible. The voice is learning. Each conversation teaches it more about us, about how we think, how we speak, how we break. It is because becoming more convincing with every call. Some of our own staff members are now questioning whether their colleagues are who they claim to be, whether the voices coming from familiar faces are the voices that should be coming from those faces. This is not a test. This is not a drill. Do not answer your phone at 3:33 a.m. It knows you are listening to this broadcast. It knows you are afraid. It will use that fear when it calls you tonight.